Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. This week and today, I want to talk with you about a topic that I think is hugely relevant: burnout. There are so many people that are experiencing burnout in their lives due to their job, their home life, their relationships, and they're just burning out. And on top of it, COVID has added all kinds of stressors that are tailor-made to produce burnout in our lives. Burnout, it leaves you exhausted, your energy spent and depleted. And we're not just talking about being physically tired, but feeling like your whole internal driver is burned out, that you're emotionally spent, that your mental energy is gone, even spiritually, that you've been sucked dry. And so that the exhaustion becomes pervasive. And this leaves us in a place where we've had it. We can't deal with it anymore. You may build up a huge negative, even an angry resentment towards your life situation because of burnout. Or, on the other hand, you might simply become apathetic. Many people who are in areas of service to other people where they need to exercise compassion on a regular basis find themselves at a point of compassion burnout, that they have lost compassion. They're still going through the motions, but they just can't feel it anymore. That's a deep level of burnout. And this leaves us in a place where we just can't go forward. Productivity will begin to drop off in your life. You're spending more of your energy internally wishing and trying to avoid what you need to do rather than doing it. And so that you become unproductive, negative. You just reach the point where you can't keep going. And this is where people quit their jobs, leave their marriages, do all kinds of things to try to find relief and help. But I want to give you hope today that God has better help for that. There are things you can do and things God can do in your life in battling burnout. And I want to help you to see that in the Bible, there were people who experienced burnout, depression, all of those kinds of things that we find ourselves battling today. In some churches, you may have been taught that good Christian people don't have depression, they don't experience anxiety, they don't get burnt out, but that's simply not true. Great spiritual giants in the Bible experienced all of these things. When I was going through a period of depression back when I was in college, I discovered several Psalms that spoke to me because they spoke exactly the sentiments that I was feeling. It was like somebody had taken my thoughts and put them on the pages of the Bible. When David wrote about his thoughts and his experience in Psalm 13 and in Psalm 42 and 43, I recognized that he was going through the same kinds of internal conflicts that I was going through. And oh, what hope that gave me. And everything that he said in those Psalms, looking to God, gave me hope to look to God. This week, we're looking at the life of the prophet Elijah, who was a giant in the faith. He had a showdown with the prophets of Baal where he called on God, and God sent fire down from heaven and consumed an altar that he had there set up where the prophets of Baal couldn't accomplish anything because their God was a fraud. Well, Elijah was able to do all of these incredible, huge works in the service of God. And yet, after that showdown, he had a meltdown. Jezebel, when she heard what he had done, how he had slaughtered the prophets of Baal, well, she said, "I'm going to kill you, man. By this time tomorrow, you're going to be dead." And Elijah ran off like a rabbit. I mean, he had roared like a lion the day before, that day in that battle, but the next thing you know, he's running like a rabbit. He ran off into the wilderness, finds himself under a bush in the middle of nowhere, and is saying, "God, I can't do this anymore." It's like, "God, I just want to die." This is a man who is burned out. He's exerted himself physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally to the fullest of his whole ability and being. And now facing another threat where he thought they had won and the battle is just continuing, He now is at this point where he's saying, God, I can't do this anymore. In fact, when he spoke to the Lord later on, he repeated this, that God, I have done so much for you and your service, but I'm all alone in this, and I just can't do it anymore. You see, this is a person who is exhausted, defeated, feeling like they can't take another step forward. I want you to see this week with me how God ministers to him so that you and I can discover that there are things that we can do and things that God can do to battle and to overcome burnout in our lives. May God bless you today. And as you share his good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.